Good evening, everyone, and a very hearty welcome to all of you to Aurora online classes. Dear students, I explained a very beautiful and inspiring poem in my previous class, and that was The Ball Poem by John Berryman. Actually, this poem has a universal appeal. This is not confined to the this is not confined to a particular section of society. The message that we get through this poem is for one and all, is for entire humanity. It is for mankind. Actually, this is a human life, and we all know that this life is precious, valuable. As I taught you in my previous class, that nothing is stable and static in this world. Nothing is permanent. Nothing remains with us forever. It has to pass. It has to go. It has to disappear. The things that we claim for ourselves, that they'll remain with us forever, this is a fallacy. This is a false conception. This is a false belief. We shouldn't take the things for granted. We should try to understand this life is in pairs. And pairs are important in our life to maintain a balance. We have nights, we have days, we have evenings, we have mornings. And change is the law of nature. Change is bound to come in our life. Nobody can prevent it from taking place. Similarly, this human life is valuable. It is more precious than anything else. And this life, this wonderful life, this beautiful life, is the gift of God. We should be thankful to God that we are bestowed upon this life. And we get this life by the grace and providence of Almighty God. It is our duty, it is our responsibility to take care of it. And we should act like a responsible person. It is our responsibility to take care of the things that we own. It is our responsibility to take care of the things that we use. At the same time, we must try to understand that these things will never remain with us forever. There is always a change, and this change is a continuous process. Everything changes with the passage of time. Be it age, be it stages of life, be it seasons, be it weather conditions. With the condition of life, everything changes with the roll of time, with the passage of time. That is why there is no denying the fact that gains and losses are a part and parcel of our life. Gains and losses are the two aspects of our life. Gains and losses are the two sides, the two faces of the same coin. We feel very happy. It is a human nature, it's a human tendency that we feel very happy on getting something. But what happens to us when we lose something that we like to have? When we lose something that we love to have? When we lose something attached to us? Of course, we get upset. We get shocked. We are shaken with grief. We feel disappointed. We get dejected. Then why do we get dejected? Why do we get disappointed? Why do we feel sorry at the loss of something that is close to us, that is dear to us, and with which we are attached to? It's a human nature. This is the materialistic world. We are living in this physical world, and this physical world is the world of possessions. We have so many possessions in our life. We want to keep things in our life. We want to possess lots of things in our life. The things that we possess, the things that we own, the things we want to keep with ourselves are the possessions. We want to own money. Money is a possession. We use it for so many things. We have our own houses. House is a possession. The things that we use for us are possessions. In my room, I am standing in front of you. This board, this white board, is a possession. The chairs that we use are possessions. The electric bulb, the fans, the room, the bed, pens, copies, laptop, fridge, television, whatever the things that we use, they are the possessions. Possessions means belongings. They are the things. But we feel upset when we lose the things that we own, that we keep with us. So this poem has a universal appeal. The poet conveys a message to all of us that we should learn to live with this loss. We should bear this loss. We should learn to bear this loss. We should learn to tolerate this loss, because loss is a fact of life. जीवन की सच्चाई है. Gains and losses are the part and parcel of our life. It's a fact that we have to lose, we have to suffer. Money, the poet says, money is external. What does it mean that money is external? Money is external means we can buy something with money. And we can only buy the external things with money. We can get so many things, lots of things, plenty of things with money. We can get a house with money. We can get the things of our comforts like mobile, like fridge, like refrigerator, like television, like car, like motor, like aeroplane, like pant shirt, like fans, like cooler. many more. We can get all these materialistic things with money. Money is to spend. But have we ever bothered that can we get love with money? Can we get any emotions with money? Can we compensate our emotional loss with money? Money cannot compensate for any emotional loss that we suffer. In this poem, the loss of the ball is the loss of childhood is a metaphor. No amount of money can bring back our childhood. Money cannot compensate the loss of childhood. And this is certain that childhood passes and we enter adulthood. And one day this adulthood also passes. We become a middle-aged man. And this day, that stage of life also passes. It does not stay with us. If you are a child, you will not remain a child forever. If you are an adult, you will not remain an adult forever. If you are a middle-aged man, you will not remain a middle-aged man forever. You grow old. And if you are old, you will not remain old forever. Death comes to you. Everything that we have in this world is not permanent. We have to lose it. So we should learn to tolerate the loss. We should learn to bear the loss. This is what the poet wants. This is what the poet wants us to understand. This is what the poet wants us to realize, that loss is a fact of life. Everybody suffers a loss. And we must know that loss has to come. Loss will take place. We must know, we must learn to tolerate the loss. We must learn to bear the loss. What does it mean to bear the loss? Learn to bear the loss. To bear the loss, to learn to bear the loss means we should accept the loss. We should accept the fact that loss is a fact of life. Loss is bound to come, and we should accept this fact. Yes, loss has to come. We should accept it. So to learn to bear the loss or to learn to tolerate the loss means to learn to accept the loss. We must accept the loss. Yes, it's a part of life. It will happen. Nobody can prevent it from happening with us. Where there is a gain, there is a loss. It's a fact. This is what the poet wants to make it clear. So dear students, in today's class, we shall discuss the poetic devices used in this poem. So let's discuss one by one. Loss is inevitable, and keep one thing in your mind. What is that? Gains and losses are a part and parcel of our life. Gains and losses are an integral part of our life. Gains and losses are the two aspects of our life. Gains and losses are the two aspects or two sides of the same coin. So it's a fact. Loss is a fact. Everybody has to bear it. Everybody has to accept it. And this is what the poet wants to convey. So let us talk about this, the poetic devices used in this poem. In this poem, there is anaphora. What is anaphora? Anaphora is the repetition of a word or expression at the start of successive clauses or sentences. Try to understand. The repetition of a word or expression at the start of successive clauses. Successive clauses or sentences means the sentences coming after. Have a look. The ball poem begins with the line, this is the first line of the poem. What is the boy now who had lost his ball? This is the first line of this poem. And the first line of this poem begins with the word what. And the second line of the poem also starts with the word what. So this is the successive line. Line number 1, line number 2. Both the lines start with the same word. So both the lines have the repetition of the word what. The word what is getting repeated in both the lines at the start of it. So the first line, what is the boy now who has lost his ball? The first line begins with the word what. Now successive line means the line that is coming after it. The second line also starts with the word what. So here there is the repetition of the word what. The word what is getting repeated at the start of these two lines. At the start of these two lines or in the beginning of these two lines. Means both the lines, line number 1 and line number 2, both the lines start with the same word what. So we get the repetition of the word what at the start or in the beginning of both the line. So such a device is called anaphora. So I hope this is clear to you. Now line number 3. You see the line number 3, merrily bouncing down the streets and then merrily over there it is in the water. Line number 3, dear. Line number 3 begins with the word merrily, means happily. Now come to the successive line, means the line that comes after it. Line number 4. So both the lines 3 and 4, both these lines 3 and 4 start with the word merrily. So which word is getting repeated at the start of the line number 3 and 4? Of course, merrily. So the word merrily gets repeated in line number 3 and line number 4 at the start, means in the beginning. So such a device where there is a repetition of a word or expression at the start of successive lines. Line number 3 and 4, successive, means the line coming after it. Line number 1 and 2, successive lines. So this is the, example of anaphora. So I hope this anaphora is clear to you, dear. Now move on to the next figure of speech. This is used in the line metaphor. And what is this metaphor? I would like to tell you. This is metaphor. In metaphor there is a comparison, and this is in line number, you can say, just look at the line, and line number 8, all his young days. Yes, in the line number 8, all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. All his young days. Young days means childhood days. Here, his ball fell into the water of the harbor. It bounced down the street and then it fell into the water. So, the ball is lost, and the loss of the ball is the loss of his childhood. The disappearance of the ball is just like the disappearance of his childhood. And money is external. Money cannot bring it back. So here childhood means young days or childhood has been compared. The loss of childhood, I would say, the loss of young days or childhood has been compared with the lost ball. With the lost ball means loss of childhood or loss of the young days of the boy has been compared to the loss of the ball with which the boy was playing. So loss of ball has been compared to loss of the ball has been compared to the loss of childhood. So this is in line number 8, and this is the device of metaphor. Metaphor has been used. Then repetition. Then come to the next one, that is repetition. And the repetition has been used in the line number 13. Balls will be lost always. The word ball, when the same word is repeated twice or thrice in a line, in the same line or in the successive lines, you see, balls, the same word is repeated, balls, and balls stands for the things that we own. It also stands for the relatives that we lose. It also stands for our family members. It also stands for, here balls stands for the materialistic things that we own in our life. So balls are getting repeated. The poet has repeated these two. The poet has repeated the word balls twice to put an stress, to emphasize the word, to emphasize the fact that balls here refer to so many things in our life, that our relationship, our family members, our friends, and other things that we have in our life or that we use in our life. So the loss of, suppose the loss of our dear one, if someone dies in our family, or if someone dies in our family, or if any of our friends dies, or if any member of family dies, it's a big loss. It's an irreparable loss. That loss cannot be compensated with money. Such a loss cannot be compensated with money. Money is external. We use money in order to get external things, materialistic things, not the emotional things. Money cannot compensate our emotional loss, and the loss of some dear one is the emotional loss, which cannot be brought by money. It is external. So here repetition, balls has been used. Now dear, apostrophe has also been used in this line, in this poem. Apostrophe means address, to address someone. Actually the poet addresses this poem to the readers, to the people. As I have said in the very beginning, that this poem has a universal theme. And what is the universal theme? The universal theme of this poem, this is for all. Universal means for all. It's meant for all. It is meant for humanity. It is meant for mankind. It is meant for one and all. This is universal. So this poem has a universal appeal. This poem has a universal message. And what is the universal message? Gains and loss are a part of life, and they are bound to come in our life. But we must learn to accept the loss. We must learn to bear the loss. We must learn to tolerate the loss. It's a fact of life. Loss is a fact of life which is bound to come, which is bound to step in our life. We should accept the loss. We should understand that loss is a fact and there is no way out. And we should not cry over the losses. We should forget, we suffer loss. Each one of us suffers a lot, and we all suffer losses. But it doesn't mean that we should cry over the spilt milk, or we should we should weep over it, and we should stand still. No. Life is not meant for standing still. Life is not meant for waiting and watch, standing and stare. There is no need to stare and stand. There is no need to stand and stare. There is a need to go on forward. There is a need to move on forward. There is a need to get ahead, go ahead in our life, forgetting all the losses that we suffer. So there is no use of, it is useless to cry over the losses. Let's go ahead. Let's move ahead. Life is an ongoing process. The show must go on. So apostrophe, the poet actually, the poet in this poem addresses this poem to all the people, to the readers, to the absent audience. And in line number 13, the poet directly speaks to the little boy. You see, balls will be lost always, little boy. So little boy is in this line, and the poet directly speaks to the boy as the little boy. He addresses the boy as the little boy. So in this phrases, little boy, the poet has used the device of apostrophe, means address, to call someone, and the poet calls the boy as little boy. This is apostrophe. Ram, where are you going? What is Ram here? Apostrophe. May I come in, sir? Apostrophe. Because someone addresses teacher as sir, as ma'am. So when you address someone as sir or ma'am, or calling him or her, someone like that, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, address. We address the gathering with the words ladies and gentlemen. This is apostrophe. So apostrophe has been used in this line. So dear students, we have discussed anaphora, metaphor, repetition and apostrophe in the poem, the ball poem. Gains and losses are a part and parcel of life. We must learn to live with the losses, and we should not stand and still. We should not remain ourselves mum. We should get on in our life, and we shouldn't forget that life is an ongoing process. So life is meant for work, and we should perform our work without bothering about the losses that we suffer, because we should understand that loss is the stark reality of life. It is the bitter truth of life, and nobody can escape through it. Losses never spare anyone. It's a fact of life, as death spares none. So dear students, whatever I have taught, I am confident, I am pretty sure that you have understood it. I have discussed all the poetic devices used in this poem. Thank you very much. That's all for today.